Stellantis have got themselves into a bit of bother with their quarter four or end of year financial results, and they've had to write down over $20 billion, and they've blamed it on the EV program. Now, they've also said they wanted to pivot more into diesels, which is quite extraordinary given that diesel sales are really in decline and take up the smallest market share at below 5%. It's extraordinary. However, there is some good news because Vauxhall has refreshed the Astra. Now, that's not necessarily the news that was good. Although it might be good for some people because the updates seem quite minor. But here's the thing. For the first time ever, as far as I'm aware, they've got price parity, but they've got price parity with the hatchback or the estate. So whichever you choose, it's the same price. Secondly, they've got price parity with their powertrains. So whether you choose hybrid, plug-in hybrid or electric, it's the same price. So in other words, you could choose the hybrid hatchback and you can choose the electric estate and it'll be the same price. Now the price for these start at £29,995 for the entry-level Griffin. I was so excited about this news. It doesn't take much for me to get excited about car news that I wrote an article. And I don't know if many of you realise, but I write car news articles for notaguru.co.uk. Now, with the press release information on this, there wasn't a huge amount of information. They got a few minor updates inside and outside, which is great. But the biggest news with the electric variant is that it now comes with a slightly larger battery capacity. So the outgoing Astra had 54 kilowatt hours. The incoming Astra has 58.3 kilowatt hours of battery. So that adds another 22 miles of range. So the Astra hatchback has 282 miles of range WLTP. And the Astra Estate has 276 miles of range WLTP. And this is really good news because for the first time, customers are going to maybe log onto the website and maybe they're looking for a new family runabout, a commuter car, take the kids to football at the weekend or whatever, and they're going to have a conscious decision to make over which powertrain. And two of them come with a plug. So this is really interesting. So it's going to. I'm thinking this is going to encourage more EV adoption, especially with Vauxhall, and especially if they take this approach and roll it out across their range of cars. I think this is fantastic news, and I'm pumped about this because I think that if Vauxhall do this throughout their range, if Stellantis do that throughout their brands, this could kickstart the entire industry into offering price parity. So whether you buy a Golf or an ID3, they're the same price, for example. And I think this is fantastic news. So people are going to sit down and say there's no price penalty over buying the electric car. And with petrol prices now going through the roof, they're going to sit down and I hope people are going to do some calculations and go, well, the electric car is going to cost us £200 a year to run. And the petrol car is going to cost us £2,000 a year to run in petrol. So evidently they're going to go for the electric. And this is a decision now that people will have to actually consciously make. And there's no excuse now, is there? There's no excuse left. Electric cars cost too much. The choice is now available in front of them and without any price penalty. It's brilliant. Now, the other thing that Vauxhall have introduced is, for the first time, as far as I'm aware, is vehicle to load. So you can now buy an adapter for your Astra, your new incoming Astra, the 58 kilowatt hour one, and plug that adapter in and plug any device you want in. Maybe you have a lawn at the front, but you don't have a plug socket and you run a cable all the way through the house. Maybe now you can just use the high voltage battery from your car and mow your front lawn. One example, EV Newt's done this. He did that in his Kia. Maybe you want to go to the beach on a cool spring day and have a nice coffee, so you're going to take your coffee machine. You know, it's opening up lots more options now. Maybe you're having a power cut and you need to quickly plug your fridge freezer in so you don't lose a few £100 worth of food in your freezer. You know, it's limited to your imagination what you can do with that. So this is brilliant. The DC rapid charging still takes you half an hour to do 20 to 80%, so no change there. It's just not groundbreaking. It's probably not even average. It's slightly below what I thought nowadays, but it is what it is. Anyway, the Astra Griffin starts at $29,995. The GS, which is the mid-spec one, that's $31,495, and the top of the range Ultimate is $33,995. And you can pick any combination of hatchback estate, hybrid petrol, plug-in hybrid, or EV, and it's exactly the same price. That was it. What fantastic news! I'm pumped by this because really this is the first time that I've seen this kind of price parity on such a popular car, and I sincerely hope now that this spreads throughout the industry, and manufacturers will copy this, and hopefully this will speed up EV adoption even further. Anyway, that was it. Just a quick one, and I shall catch you on the next one.